both
players
of
are
these
characters.
Denti, in particular, has certainly been a character. You can... One of the most easily identifiable faces in the DFW Smash scene.
I think both of these players are pretty comfortably sitting in top 5 DFW PR right now. The PR,
Easily.
It hasn't been released. There might be some argument for one of them being swapped out for like Karna or another. Like, there's so many good players in our region, but definitely close to that top 5 echelon. These are both really, really good players that I could see making it to grand finals, depending on how bracket runs.
You would say Austin and Army, the 1 and 2 seed here tonight, would likely be the 1 and 2 on the PR, and then Orex, Denti, and Cheeks are kind of in contention for those other 3 spots in the top 5 usually. Yeah,
Orex, Denti, Cheeks, maybe Karna.
Possibly Karna as well. You know, had a more of a rough start to the beginning of the PR season, but
a rough start with a couple second places. Like,
yeah,
it's not as rough as it sounds.
He had a little bit of a character crisis, and he had to fumble around through a couple of other things. But these two have been sticking with their characters, and I think Orex got off to a little bit of a hotter start than Denti did, considering that the first event of the season got second at Ultimatum, and he's just been on fire since.
Of course, and Orex, you know, always a player with a really just good mental fortress. Doesn't falter too much. Denti, a little bit more of an emotional player, so we'll see if that plays into the match. I do believe we've seen this before, but
yes,
I can't recall the second.
This was back at, I believe, Ultimate Shockwave 16. Yeah, Ultimate Shockwave 16. This was grand finals and also winner semifinals. And we saw Denti get, I believe, 1 reset, if memory serves correctly.
Okay,
and then
Orex
still won it. Yeah, because we were talking about it. It's like this guy will hold on forever.
That's right. Yeah, Denti did get the reset.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right.
So I mean, we know it's somewhat, anybody could take this, right? But I think we'd have to favor Orex just because we've seen what he can do when he goes on the back foot. Denti relies on his opponent making mistakes a lot. You know, he's a great whiff punisher. It just goes down to, is Orex going to crack, which normally just does not happen.
I think one thing we need to look out for, one thing that's going to be important, is just whoever gets the lead in the stock count and then the set is going to be very important moving on, just because of the difference in mentalities of the players, where Orex, you know, he doesn't falter very much, and Denti, he's strong mentally, but sometimes being the emotional player that he is will just kind of beat himself.
Yeah, the onus is on Denti to win more than it is on Orex.
If Orex comes from behind, honestly, last stock Orex and last game Orex is a different monster.
Yeah, I'm afraid to see that if it comes out, but also excited at the same time. You know, it's a terrifying thing to behold, and you go, can this guy make a mistake? How is he not like top 5 in the world?
Denti pulling out the Charizard right now. The Charizard actually doing a really good job of boxing against the Peach and doing a really good job of holding onto this stock at 160 almost. That Nair definitely would have KO'd any of the other trainers' Pokemon.
But Charizard being the right choice. I mean, I think this is something we touched on rather at Ultimate Shockwave 16 when these two played, is that the Charizard just seemed to be working so well against Orex, and it looks like Denti's figuring, especially these higher percents, I'll stick it out, I'll see how this goes. You know, the only problem with Charizard, at least in this matchup, is that you're going to have laggy options, and Peach has many big things to hit with.
Of course, the Squirtle, the fast, quick option, wants to get that extra damage. Starting off with a couple fairs. It's got a little bit of Sheik Syndrome, though. Hits you a lot and doesn't get a lot of actual damage. Just a lot of positioning and a lot of resets.
Yeah, and that's kind of a tough thing against Peach, because she actually has a pretty good time getting out of disadvantage, unless you're playing a character like Fox who can seriously juggle her. But, you know, going with the Squirtle, that's not going to be the thing. So I think Denti was kind of looking for a play where he could set up that juggle situation and then go to the Ivysaur, where he's got all of these resources and only barely miss that up air to continue the juggle.
All right, definitely the game plan is I don't want to waste time switching and lose my invincibility, so I'm going to take advantage of it. Use Squirtle to push you off the stage and then try to edge guard or ledge trap with Ivysaur. Now Ivysaur finally found a safe way to get him out. And she's going to be trying to put in some work on these plats.
We're also seeing another thing. This is one thing that Denti has been doing really well with the Ivysaur compared to the last time these two played, is that he's using the back air a lot more. He's retreating with the back air, missing the palm. Oh my gosh. But yeah, he's been retreating with the back air, and we were saying, you know, man, I wish Denti would do a little bit more of that back air, because I feel like that's less ending lag and it's harder for Peach to whip punish that, and it looked like it was doing pretty good on that stock.
There we go. Now we're pulling out the Charizard a little bit earlier than we normally would see it. But definitely good to hold on to this stock. Wow, that turnip did so much damage.
Dude, turnips are so good in this game. Peach in general just got so many of her tools. Like, they're still the same, but just better. I mean, look at that. Look at what that does.
Catching the end of the fly so that he didn't have any armor left. Denti kind of expecting the armor to plow through. Just grab the ledge.
Oh, speaking of plowing, oh my god.
Yeah, was able to catch that defensive option, get that forward smash, and even things up. Denti's got him on a platform.
This is what we were talking about, man. Ivysaur is pretty good at keeping a Peach in the air. Great extension with that up air. I love that from Denti.
Use that Vine Whip, get back to the ledge. How's he going to land? Okay.
Love using the down air. It means that Orex can't get below and just juggle him on that platform. Can't cover the landing.
Okay, I like that he saw that late Razor Leaf could set up for something if Orex pressed a button, but he didn't. So Denti backed off and said, I'm going to reset my neutral position.
Denti's really good at playing that game where he says, all right, my priority #1 is don't get hit, and then I will do something to this guy. And, you know, that's been the game plan where he's been winning in this game. It's just that when Orex does get that opening, he's doing so much. Oh my goodness.
Down tilt, trying to go for a tech chase and get that forward smash. Wasn't able to find it, but that up smash, after he went for the Pokemon switch, got himself at a disadvantage and got some good damage on Orex.
Yeah, up throw on a platform just might be killing right about now. It's something that Denti's going to be looking for.
Yeah,
so you can see him dancing around these platforms.
Yeah. Orex has to watch out for that. He also has to watch out just for this up smash, of course. Catching him, trying to jump over, maybe set up down air pressure on the shield or nair pressure. Denti was ready for it. Caught Orex jumping over and was able to take that first game. It was down to the wire. And that's what I like to see out of these sets.
Yeah, no, I mean, and especially that this looks a little bit like, especially in the early percents, this looks a little bit like that set we saw the last time we played, but you can see that Denti went back and watched and said, okay, I know the changes that I need to make, thought about it, put them into practice, and got him a game.
What I think is really sick is we finally saw the Charizard work. In the last 2 stock interactions, it was always Orex takes the first stock, and then Denti comes back quickly and kind of answers it. Or so the Charizard drops. The Charizard wasn't taking many stocks. But when Charizard came back that time, he went for a little bit of an earlier Charizard, so he had more opportunity at like 80% instead of the normal 120.
Yeah, I mean, and a really good job of just using every single one of those anti-air tools that Charizard has, especially the up smash, right? Caught Orex with it twice, and the second one actually killed. So I love that Denti has been able to sort of get a better handle on Orex's aerial movement, and we'll see if he's able to carry that over onto Town and City, where, you know, these platforms, Orex is going to have to commit a lot more to get to them more than on Battlefield.
I really wonder why Denti starts with Squirtle. I'm sure that it's objectively like right, or he's thought about why he's doing it. But I wonder why he starts with Squirtle. Maybe at 0%, Ivysaur just doesn't do as well. He needs that little extra damage to get anything off against Peach.
But generally where the combos are going to start, yeah.
The Ivysaur does a lot better in neutral, it looks like. The Squirtle can kind of get manhandled sometimes. But, ooh, catch the jump.
Yeah, catching him right there. There were a couple of interactions in a row right there where Denti had Orex on the ropes, had him off stage, but then he missed his opportunity. And because he was already off stage, he went in too hard, and Orex was able to punish him because he was getting too aggressive. But aggression worked off stage. I mean, once again, Charizard's cleaning off the plate.
There we go, using that Pokemon switch to get out of the disadvantage. But man, Orex chase game is nice. Spot dodge from Denti.
Yeah, definitely mixing up these neutral airs on Shield Man, and there we go. Once again, the back air catching Orex up into the air. And now let's see if he can catch these juggles. We said this might be an important thing for Denti coming into this set.
Yeah, was able to get rid of the turnip with the Razor Leaf. Trying to catch a jump out of Shield, but Orex held strong. The one thing to pay attention to, what the heck traded to put him there?
That probably would have been a down tilt, I think.
Really good for Denti that he did trade, because that down tilt is a big starter for Peach.
Yeah.
Back throw going to set him back off the ledge.
Boy, Denti's game when he's got Orex in the corner has been solid, and he gets the sour spot.
I didn't even know he could hit and connect with forward smash there, but he was able to catch the roll.
I do me either.
This ledge trap looking nice. Well, I was going to say, one thing to pay attention to with Peach is when she's shielding, pay attention to whether or not she has a turnip. She might be more likely to jump if she doesn't have a turnip. Great throw.
Yeah.
But if she has a turnip, that adds to her out of shield options where she can just toss it out of shield and doesn't have to worry about the pressure as much.
I mean, I've said this before, but I feel like turnip is comparable to banana in this game.
It's very good.
Oh my goodness! He saw that Orex had already committed to the float and the aerial, knew there was only one way to go for Orex, and that was down into the Flare Blitz.
Using that flamethrower to try to cleave away back onto the stage. Mashes out of the grab. That's really nice for Denti. But that air dodge to the platform, he was trying to make, you know, that escape mix-up, but Orex had all the time to react, came in with a forward air. He had really good spacing to actually be able to react to that and do something about it. Instead of just reacting and saying, okay, well, you have this now.
So this is the last stock that Denti needs to take to move on, get a 2-0 over Orex, and move past Ultimate Shockwave 16, where he went down to him. But, Neighbor, we're getting into these higher percents for both of these guys. What does Denti need to do to make sure that he closes out the set?
I mean, he definitely needs to keep solid with his game plan. He knows that it's been working out. Don't get too stressed about the situation. And there we go, got down throw Vine Whip. Continuing this juggle. Don't get it too early. There we go. Vine Whip was perfect there. Even if he didn't catch Orex, he still had pressure afterwards.
Such a great fake cross up there from Orex. But now with the Charizard out, kills are going to be coming later. And Denti, if he gets a grab in this corner, I thought he was going to go for the grab and get the up throw on the platform.
I think what he was expecting was that grab might have been obvious to Orex, so he expected to jump to avoid the grab. A lot of people jump in the air to get away from the grab situation.
And now he really wants it.
Orex's movement to avoid the kill moves is so good. That is one of the best qualities of Orex, is his ability to avoid these KO options. What separates
hard to lock down, dude.
Separates the good from the great. Oh!
Orex,
my God!
So twice in that game, Orex burned the double jump with the float and went for an aerial, and that meant that Denti knew he can only go one way right now.
And that's back down.
And that's back down, and I can just flare blitz him if I get the trajectory.
Exactly.
If I get that NASA rocket launch.
And Denti, looking like a rocket scientist, nailed 2 in a row.
Just the glasses?
2 for 2. 2 for 2 on flare blitzes.
I have this covered, he says. And moves on. Winner semis, dude.
Denti